Do you think that Bill Gates worries about you?
No. I think he thinks about Linux a lot because I just think that he's a person who likes to be in control. I mean, Microsoft is his baby, and he worries about anything that keeps his baby from being number one.
And with those few short comments, our keynote speaker summarizes the main goal and driving philosophy behind the open source movement. The goal is not to make millions, although that would be nice. The goal instead is to drive the development of applications to a user focus that will allow technology to continue its progression into the world's households. Welcome to the 2010 Conference on Distance Education. In just a few short minutes, our keynote speaker, Linus Torvalds, the man responsible for giving open source software a foothold in the underbelly of networking and computing, will take the stage to talk to us about the open source movement. His Linux operating system has blazed the trail for open source projects in many different venues of computing. Linux has been estimated at a 60% diffusion rate in web servers. This means more than half of you are currently using an open source application that you've probably never seen. Linus comes to us today to talk about the possibilities presented by the open source movement as it relates to distance education in the 21st century. So what's new? GNU stands for News, not Unix. The open source movement is closely linked with the GNU protocols. These are the guidelines used to determine open source software as truly open. They call for a title to be written with human viewable code that is openly accessible by anyone interested in viewing it. The code should be editable to meet the needs of the end user and should be provided at no cost. The terms of the GNU open source certification also require that all derivative works also follow the same guidelines. This means that an individual cannot take a GNU licensed product, edit it to meet their needs, and then package it for sale. Before Linus can take the stage to announce the future of open source education, we must spend some time looking at the different programs that are currently affecting change in our school systems. The Open Source Initiative is responsible for guiding the development of open source software titles in every arena. New versions of software are submitted to the OSI for packaging and deployment into the numerous arenas of open source software. This loosely governing body provides resources and guidance to individuals and organizations interested in using open source software applications. The Open Source Initiative has been instrumental in the development and diffusion of key applications such as Moodle, Mozilla's Firefox web browser, and the Linux operating system. Moodle is a course management system that was originally developed in Australia. Its primary competitors are WebCT and Blackboard. These course management systems are used to put students into online classes, and they're responsible for delivering course content directly to the students when and where they need it. Moodle has emerged as a leader in the course management arena thanks to its low cost of ownership and high stability. You're looking at a demonstration course developed for Moodle. You can see where I've gone to the English section to find a course on Romeo and Juliet. You can see how the Moodle application allows for organization of content into relevant categories for ease of student use. Since the programming is all open source, there's no limit to what Moodle can look like. You may be using Moodle to view this video for your coursework and not even know it. The Mozilla Foundation is a non-profit organization that is responsible for the development of the open source Mozilla project. This project, designed to compete with Microsoft's Windows operating system, has been very successful in developing a web browser. Mozilla's Firefox web browser has a dedicated following due to its high level of stability, low risk of viral infection due to smaller market share, and its suite of no-cost, powerful add-ins that make Firefox a more productive browser to many users. The open source concept is very apparent when using Firefox. The Firefox community has developed many different add-ins that work with the software to produce one seamless product for experiencing the multimedia associated with the World Wide Web. The Linux operating system is by far the most commonly used open source title available, although many people have never seen it and some have never heard of it. Many people are not familiar with its founder, our speaker, because it sits at the most basic levels of computing. Quietly running servers that make the digital world go round. As Linus comes up to the stage, I'm sure that you can all see a future where open source applications such as Moodle, Mozilla, and Linux have reached deep into our content and pedagogy. You can imagine the benefits of having stable programs with significantly fewer strings tied to them. You can envision your students having the same application at home as they have in your classroom or to use for your class because they're provided free of charge. In short, get ready. The future is coming, and it's wide open.